Welcome to the first episode of Real Estate Success Partners. We're your hosts, Devin Dubuc,
David Nguyen,
and we're here to talk about how to have great success in every market and how to create great success for our real estate partners. Today marks our first episode, one of one. We're making history, baby. So what are we going to talk about today, David?
I say we talk about us. Let's let our followers know a little bit about us.
I like that. Okay, who's going first?
How about I go first? Let's interview you, Devin. Let's let our audience know a little bit about you.
That sounds like a great idea. Okay, well, no time like the present. We're here. Let's get started.
I agree. First question. What's your background, Devin? Tell us about yourself and how did you get into the business?
Man, you know this, but I grew up in Salina, Kansas. Moved out to Dallas in 2000, and hope and a dream, right? I came out here. I wanted to get into sales. Wrong business. I started off in car sales, but right idea. I knew there was an opportunity for success out here, and I think within 6-7 months, I had a good buddy of mine that said, "Hey, you know what? You should get in the mortgage business with me. We're having great success here. We're making a lot of money and having a good time. And, more importantly, we're helping people. And, that was really important to me. So, I took the plunge, did a complete transition to a new position and just fell in love with this industry. And I think it's because, again, it's just, it's one of those businesses where you get to help people, right? You can have great success, but you're helping families get in homes. So you're helping families achieve potential long-term wealth that can be passed along to their generations. And man, there's something special about that, right? There's something special about helping people, and I think that's what got me in the business. So that's where I got to today. That's how I got here.
Okay. So are you a broker or a banker?
So I'm a banker. We have the opportunity to broker, but mainly a bank, right?
Yeah. What's your position? Are you a loan officer or a branch manager?
I'm branch manager. So I'm the corporate branch manager for Click and Close Mortgage and the managing director of the Dubuc team.
Okay. So tell us about your setup, Devin. What does your team look like?
Oh man, it's a great question. So we've got a team of about 40 mortgage professionals. We have those teams broken down into separate entities. Each team has 1 or 2 loan officers, 2 or 3 loan partners, and they all share a team of back-end loan processors. We've really tried to build a model that allows for our loan originators to stay focused on going out and building new relationships with their real estate partners, and also make sure that they're available to deliver the consultations to our borrowers. But we've given that opportunity for their loan partners to take care of a lot of the heavy lifting. What we've seen in the industry, over the years is a lot of time the loan officer does everything, right? They're trying to wear too many hats, and they come across looking like the one band or maybe a clown. And we want them to be a conductor, right? To be able to provide great service to their loan partners, they need to have that ability to really, stay focused on creating new business. Well, they've got a back end team that does all the work, and that way we can stay in touch with our real estate partners. We can stay in touch with our borrowers, and our loan officers have the ability to create, new business. We've also built a really solid processing team. We've gotten loans closed in as little as 8 days. Start to finish, right? And that's important. You got to make sure that you're taking care of your real estate partners and your borrowers, making the process smooth and seamless, giving them communication, across the table. And that's what my team looks like, right? That's just a little snapshot. I think there's probably a gazillion more things that I could tell you, but if you want to, just kind of peel back that first layer, that first top layer of the onion, that's what we're looking like today.
Well, call me a little bit biased, Devin, but your team sounds amazing. So, last question. What do you think your unique skills are and that helped you become so successful?
Man, I love that you asked that. And I think it's a tough one to ask, right? Because we have to try to stay modest. And, at the end of the day, we don't want to sound like we're bragging or gloating, but man, I think the gift that I've been given is the gift of motivation. I think that's really important to have a good motivational value to your team, to provide, constant support when everybody needs it, right? And to make sure that you keep that train driving. And I've been blessed with that, right? I've got an opportunity to get in front of my team every day, wake them up with we actually call it the call stars. We get up every day and we come in and we actually host a meeting where my entire team jumps on a calls from 9 to 11, and we reach out to our real estate partners and our borrowers, and we give them updates and make sure that they're aware of what's going on with the processes. And that's important, right? But it's also hard to stay consistent and persistent, and to be able to do that and provide that opportunity and be there to support them and give them that motivation. I think that's my driving trait. I think that's one of the things that really sets us apart from the competition. So you ask about what makes me successful. I think it's motivation, man. I think it's being able to motivate others and teach them how to be successful. There's something I like to say to my people, and that's really I'm here to help show each and every one of you the right opportunities to make yourselves the most successful versions of yourself. And to do that, I'm going to hold you accountable, and I ask that they all hold each other accountable. And we push each other and motivate each other, to create great success together. So I think that's the unique trait, man. I think that's probably it.
That's amazing, Devin. Oh, no wonder you're so successful.
Well, I appreciate that, man. I do. I do. So, I know this is 101, so we're going to try to keep this one short and sweet. We want to make sure that we captivate and build some viewers. So, we're not going to go too far off. And of course, what this podcast is going to be about, guys, is really how we create success inside of our own lives and for our people around us, but also how we create great success for the partners that we're doing business with. So let's transition this over to you, David.
Okay. I like where this is going.
Yeah. So, David, man, I've known you for a long time, and we've actually worked together in a couple different environments. Man, always had great relationship, and David, I've always just admired you for what you bring to the table, the energy and the motivation, and the driving force that you have, right, so to speak. And so, I want to ask you some questions. So, what's your background, right? How did you get into the business?
Okay, so I spent the last 20 years of my young life. I still call myself young, in banking.
We're still young,
Yeah,
brother.
thanks, man. I agree.
We may feel old, but we're
It's
definitely
all up here. But anyways, I spent 20 years in banking. I was in credit card processing, so I got in there very young age, and it's been I caught an entire career in there. And I kind of zigzag, kind of like you, until I found my calling, which I consider mortgages the love of my life. The love of my life.
Yeah.
It's I love the ability to help people. I love everything about the mortgage business. So I kind of zigzagged to this point.
That's man, sometimes that's how we get in it, right? We
Yeah.
never know how we're going to end up where we end up. It's just we get dropped in there, and then we find it, and we find a passion for it, and we love it, and we grow on it.
Mhm.
So are you a broker or are you a banker?
I'm a banker.
And I knew that.
Yeah.
It's, you work with me. So,
Yeah.
and are you a loan officer or a branch manager?
I'm a loan officer.
Yeah. And do you have a team? And if so, what does that look like?
I do. I do. So I have a team of four, including myself. I have my experienced manager, Ashton. I have my LO assistant, Jasmine, and then my partner that does everything, Chris. As we grow our team, we're adding on to it. But this I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for my team. They're a big part of what we do and how we do things.
And let me ask you a question. How does that workflow work, right? You've got four people on the team. What does everybody do, right? What does that look like?
Yeah, it's so I'm kind of the marketing guy that goes out there and talks to the clients. I'm kind of the face of our franchise.
Yeah.
Ashton is my experience manager. We want to make sure we give a 5-star experience and to everybody out there, and he just kind of ensures that. Jasmine and Chris are our back end. There's a lot of, I call it dirty work when it comes to the mortgage business. There's a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of pulling. There's if you don't know anything about the mortgage business or real estate, I call it the puzzle. You got to be able to solve a puzzle and put puzzle pieces together. And that's what Ashton and Chris are very good at.
Yeah.
There's not anything that we come across that we can't find a solution to.
Yeah, but that's important. I mean, you're right. It is a puzzle. And the thing is we need to make it look easy, right?
Yes.
So having the right team and the right support staff behind you, right? I know in my career, right? That's what's made, us so successful is having that ability to have the right team assembled that can take that puzzle that, let's be honest, it's not a child's 10-piece puzzle, right?
No.
The big puzzle blocks, right? No, sometimes it's 1,000-piece puzzle, right?
Sure.
And we need to take that 1,000-piece puzzle and show our real estate agents and our borrowers that it's the child's puzzle, right? Let them
Hmm.
put those big blocks into place, get them to the closing table, and they don't need to know what's going on behind the curtains. And that's why assembling the right team is so important, right? I mean, would you say that that's an
No,
accurate?
I can't emphasize, but I taught every time. We do all the heavy lifting, and you never know what the problem is behind the scenes. All you know is we're gonna have a smooth and flawless closing, and what we want to make sure that everybody has is a smooth and flawless closing.
Well, let me ask you that too. And I know this is a little off of the topics that we talked about, but what kind of process do you follow, right? How do you get to a smooth and flawless closing, right? What does that look like? Is there a formula or a system that you follow?
We do. We are a very process driven company team from the top to the bottom. We have what's called a daily success plan. We follow the same things every single
Mm.
day. On Monday, we call it our just ask. Tuesday, we're doing a specific thing. Wednesday, we're doing a specific thing. Thursday, we're doing a specific thing.
Well,
So
let's break that down real quick. So Monday, right? What do we do on Monday? What does that look like?
we call it Thor's hammer. So our Monday is probably one of my favorite calls of the week. We're reaching out to real estate agents just to make an introduction, just to meet new clientels out there, just to get our faces out to the public out there and
Looking
see.
for other partners that
Yeah,
are like-minded, like-hearted, right?
absolutely
Yeah,
building new relationships, Devin.
yeah, yeah. That's important, right? Because let me ask you a question. Do you want to do business with just anybody, right? When you guys are
No,
looking for those
no, absolutely
relationships?
not.
Yeah.
There's a saying that we say around the office. We're looking for like-minded and like-hearted people. At the end of the day, I've done business in the past with people that sometimes I really didn't like, Devin, and I'm at a point in my lifetime where that's just not where I want to go anymore.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's important, right? I mean, you said at the beginning, right? We're getting up there in age, right? But at the end of the day, we like to think we're young, and why build a business off of people you don't like doing business with, right? I think it's really important you find the right partners, the right success partners, right,
right.
to drive each other to move the right way. So you do this Thor's hammer thing. You guys call new agents, and what are you trying to do? Are you selling them products? Are you selling them?
Absolutely not. I'll go back to what our tagline, like heart and like minded people. So I want to get to know them. I want
Yeah.
to know what
Yep.
what they tick, what their family structure is, what just if we have any common interest,
Right.
because at the end of the day, I want to like them. Oh, if I'm going to do business with them, that's more important than anything else. The rest of the business side will come.
Yep. You're right. You're right. You're right. So you do the Monday Thor's hammer thing, and you're reaching out to new agents. Do you do anything else on that day? Is there any other activity you call any other people?
Yeah, we do. We do. We have what's called our focus realtors. On that day, we reach out to all of our realtor relationships just to touch base with them, just to make sure that they know we're here, and if they need anything, we're here of service. And with the modern day of technology, you have phones, you have text, you have everything. But you know what? Nothing's more powerful than to pick up the phone and just make that live call and say, "Hey,
Right?
I'm here. What do
Yeah.
is there
Amen.
anything you need from me?" It's old school, but we believe it's important to actually pick up that phone and talk to you.
I think that's important too, man. I think we come to a world where everything became about price and
Hmm.
about who's got the best price and the best bottom line. But I think we forget about service, and sometimes we get wrapped up in those transactions, not just mortgage in any type of life, right? And it's all price driven, and then we find out there's no service behind it, and it's not enjoyable. I can tell you, Mrs. Dubuc and I, when we like to go out to dinner, right? We like to single out places and restaurants that just provide amazing service. And you know what? We're willing to pay a little extra for that. Not that your price or product is more expensive than anybody else. I assume that that's not the case. But, at the end of the day, I think it's important to have the right service and picking up the phone and talking to somebody, right? Getting that face to face value or that at least voice to voice value. Man, yeah, I think it's a lost art. And I love to hear that you guys are doing. You do this every single Monday. You call them
Every
every
single
Monday.
Monday. It's part of our process. It's without fail.
That's why you're so successful, man. I already, I know because we work together, but at the end of the day, just kind of hearing it back and hearing what you're doing, man, it just all makes so much sense. So you've got an activity for Tuesday. What do you do on Tuesdays?
Man, Tuesdays are just ask Devin. So, with our realtor relationships, Tuesday are anybody that has an executed contract that's in processing. Tuesdays is our what I call just ask or update days. We're calling our realtor, we're calling the other realtor on the transaction, we're calling the title company, and we're also calling the insurance company. Anybody that's involved in the transaction, we're calling them on the phone to make sure that everybody's up to date on what's going on with the file.
I was going to say, what do you talk about, right? So
Yeah.
you just calling them to call them,
No,
or
absolutely not. Just to, again, at the end of the day, what we find is communication is key. A lot, what we have found is realtors, whenever they're working with certain lenders, don't get a lot of communication. They're always asking, "Hey, what's going on with the Jones file? Hey, was there an appraisal order? Was certain milestones hit?" They never have to worry about that anymore. I talk to realtors all the time where on Sunday nights they're thinking of going, "Hey, I need to call this lender to find out this file. We got to call this lender to find out this file." With us, you don't ever have to worry about because you're getting a call from us every Tuesday to give you an update on what's going on with that file. So without fail, it goes on every Tuesday.
Man,
But
that's good stuff.
yeah, but the biggest thing we do is when we communicate with the client, we're simply asking Mr. Smith, "Hey, this is going on the file. Looks like we're going to have a smooth and flawless closing. Do you have any questions? No? Okay. We just want to ask you a question. Hey, do you know anybody that's looking to buy, sell, or refinance? If you do, can you please send them our way?"
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
that's why we call it just ask. It's an update, but it's a just ask because our
You're looking for an opportunity,
we're looking
right?
for an opportunity, but
Yeah.
we're trying
To serve more people. I mean, is that kind of a fair way to look at it?
what makes you successful.
Yeah.
As a relationship to my realtors, my job is to, if I can, give them more business. And it's just
Yeah.
simply, in our business, when do most people ask for referrals? At the end of the transaction,
No,
right?
you're right.
Everybody does.
Or not at all.
Or not at all, or not at all. I talk to everybody, but when you think about it, Devin, when are people most excited about a transaction? During the process. I mean, think about that.
Yeah.
They're about to move into a house in the next 15 to 30 days. Don't you think they're going to talk about it at the family dinner? Don't you think they're talking about it at work? Don't you think they're talking about it with their girlfriends, their guy friends?
They're
They're talking about
excited.
coffee.
You're right.
So what you
I know
put out into this world, you're going to get back. So think about it. It makes complete sense
No.
that the best time to ask for a referral is during the transaction. You're going to get more referrals during that transaction than any part of the thing. And the reason why we do it is that way our realtor relationships don't have to do it. We're doing it for you.
That's huge, man. That's huge. And I know when the wife and I bought, where we're broadcasting from today, right? The secret headquarters of Devin Dubuc, right? When we purchased this home, we literally we told everybody, right? We were out, well, we were talking to all the folks that we knew. It didn't matter, if they were the waiters at the restaurants that we talked to or our friends and family. Man, we were talking about, how excited we were for a home. And we did a new build, so it took some time. So, I think we were talking about buying our new house for 6 or 7 months, and you're right. There were a lot of people that approached us at that point in time and said, "Hey, who you using for your financing?" In my case, it was easy, right? I get to advertise my company.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it does happen, and we do talk about it because it is an exciting point in our lives. So, the fact that you guys are reaching out every Tuesday and giving those status updates and using that as another opportunity, man, I think that's huge, right? I mean, that's definitely a game changer. So we know what you do on Tuesday, right? What do you do on Wednesday?
Wednesday is our past client database call. So on Tuesday, let's just say that our just ask, if for some reason we get to the end of the transaction and we funded the loan and we haven't gotten referral, we consider that a C. What I mean by that, I don't consider you can give me a 5-star bill unless I get you a review, unless I can get you a referral back. So we consider we're halfway there because any lender can get you to the closing line. Hopefully, we just take it one step further. For me to get an A, for me to get a 5-star review, I need to extract a referral from you. So if I can't do that by the time the transaction is completed, then it goes into my past client database call. Right. So in my past client database, we're marketing to our clients. Notice I said our clients, to our realtors and our clients. So what does that look like? We use CRMs. We use a CRM called HomeBot. It sends a valuation to the clients every single month that tells you what the valuation of the house. They can even go in there and manipulate and see what's sold in the neighborhood, where other transactions are going. So if they have any questions, if they're on the move, we can jump in and let them know, hey, how can we be here of service? The secondary thing we do is we contact the clients 4 times a year on a phone call, Devin. You already know we email them once a month.
Right.
But we're going to call them 4 times a year. The reason why we're going to call for them 4 times a year is because people like to communicate the way they like to communicate. Again, we're in the technology age, Devin. Right. Some people like to communicate with text. Some people like to communicate with email. Some people like to communicate with phone. We want to make sure that we hit all those platforms to make sure that we reach the client. And when we're reaching the client, it's just another opportunity for us to ask, hey, do you know anybody that's looking to buy, sell, or refinance? Hey, if you do, can you please send them our way? Yeah. There was a stat out there. I don't know if you know there's not. What percentage do you think most people use the same realtor for a second transaction?
Man, you'd hope a lot, right? I mean, you spend a lot of time. It's your most valuable possession, and at the end of the day, the person that brought you to that home, I think you'd want to give them back business, right?
Yeah, you would, but the National Realtor Association says that's 12%, Devin. Why do you think 12%, if you did such a great job of capturing that audience, came back to you for a second time?
Yeah.
What do you think that is?
Yeah.
It's just
follow up, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, follow up, being face fronting. That's why we want to make sure that we're in their face every single month. We want to make sure that if they are on the move or they're looking at another transaction, we are there to talk to them, and then we're there to capture that audience for our realtors also.
That's
so huge. That database call is huge. If we don't get if we don't get a referral by the end of the transaction, we're going to get one usually by the end of the year.
That's huge, man. That's huge. And you're calling them, you're calling your past customer. It's every Wednesday. You call all of them every Wednesday?
No, we go, we kind of go to the alphabet, on this Wednesday, it's every other letter, maybe A, B, next to it, B, C. So we have a methodical way of doing it. And we don't want to hit them too little. We don't want to hit too much. We call them about 4 times a year. We don't want to bother them,
Yeah, it's say if you're calling them every Wednesday, that could get a little redundant.
Yeah. It's about we reach out to them about 4 times a year. We don't think we think it's just right.
Yeah. Well, I think there's probably some statistics behind that too, right? The amount of times that you're calling them, the 4 times a year. You've seen that's kind of the magic number. Or?
Yes. And so the statistics show with us, with us touching on email, with us calling them. And on top of that, we're also writing letters to them, Devin. So when I say we hit all the platforms, we hit all the platforms of communication over that course of that year.
That's fantastic, man. That's great stuff. So, okay. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, those days are done, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got Thursday. So what do you do on Thursday?
Thursdays are our pals, pre-approved and looking. I know I keep saying that this is my favorite day. They're all my favorite days of the week to call. So what is a pals? Whenever we get someone in and they want to get a pre-approval, what do most lenders do? They give them the pre-approval and then they sit back, right? The next time the realtor or the client talks to that lender is the next time you have an executed contract. We don't do that. We contact that client every single week to make sure is there anything. My big thing is, can we be a service? Is there anything that you need from us to get them going? Okay.
Yeah.
But the secondary reason why we call our pals is really for our realtor relationships. Devin, I don't have to tell you, this has been a wild year, with the feds doing what they're doing. It seems like every time a Fed comes up with a meeting, our borrowers are frozen out there. Have you noticed that this year?
Yeah. It's a different market.
It's a completely different market. So, we've heard the cries of the people. What I mean by that is our realtor relationships. They're sitting there whenever the feds come out with an announcement, everybody freezes and no one's looking at houses. Well, our client, I keep emphasizing our client, when it comes to rates or lending or something like that, who's more adept at answering those questions, the realtor or the lender? Probably the lender, right, Devin?
Yeah.
So with that being said, if they're frozen because of rates or so, I probably should be communicating with them. So when my team's calling them, my experienced manager, Ashton, he's just following up, hey, what's going on? Are you going out looking at houses this weekend? If they're frozen because of rates or they don't know, then we go into our, let's be of service, At the end of the day, the market's the market. We don't control the environmental. All we can control is what we do about that. So I'll give a perfect example. We're in a rising rate market today. But with that being said, is now the time to buy, Devin?
I think it is. I think it is, and I think a lot of people think no, right?
Right.
But I am in this industry, and
Yes,
so
yes.
at the end of the day, what we see is people are frozen up because they see these higher interest rates and they go, man, this is the worst time to purchase a home. But what they're not thinking about is all the other reasons why they should be buying a home, right? What was happening 9, 10 months ago?
Yeah, you were paying over asking price,
How
5,
much?
10, 15, 20. I mean, I
I
had a personal client pay $100,000 for a $600,000
No,
over
they
asking
bought
price.
mine for 50K over asking on the
Yeah,
house that I sold before the Miss
yeah,
Dubuc and I moved into here, right? So 9 months ago, 10 months ago, houses were going for 50 to 100K over, but rates were low, right?
yeah.
But you're coming out of pocket with 50K, 100K over, right? Some cases 15 or 20, right? But I think the average at that point in time, especially here in the Dallas Fort Worth market, which should be specific as where we're located, but we do business. Do we just do business here?
No, we're national.
Yeah, 48 states, right?
That's right.
So we were seeing it everywhere, but specifically here, right? 50K, 100K over asking price for these houses, and they were getting great interest rates, right? But what else was happening to them? Were they able to negotiate a contract?
Absolutely not. No
Right.
seller concessions, no nothing. It was all a seller's market outside.
Yeah, right. And so you'd have what? How many? There was a record as to how many deals hit at one point in time. Do you remember that? Like, it was one. They even put it in the news, the Dallas Morning News. I think it was over 50 offers in day number one as the house hit the market. Was
Yeah, it
something
was
like
just it
that?
was something
Something,
crazy. I mean, it was.
something ridiculous, right? Like
Yep.
50 or plus, bids on a house. And were your government borrowers able to buy a house back then?
Absolutely not. Basically,
Right.
all the FHA VAs were shot down. It was conventional or nothing.
That was it. Yeah. So conventional or nothing. And so you got to have and you had to have a lot of money, right? So you had to make you kind of had to dress up the offer, right? Is it kind of put lipstick on it and throw something fancy on it to make it look really good, right? So we're dangling cash, right? We're dangling cash purchase, right? Sometimes they were cash purchases, and then waving the necessity for the seller to pay the title policy, right?
Yeah.
What else was going on there? They no inspection
Yeah.
required.
No inspection, no appraisal, as
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
Yeah,
as
that's
is
crazy.
appraisal, right? Even if
Yeah.
it comes in under value, you got to come over value, right? And but the rates were good, right? The rates were good, but now the rates have gone higher. But what's happened to the houses right now? Are they going for 50, 100K over asking price?
Absolutely not. In fact, right now they're giving a seller concessions. You're getting a lot of things that you couldn't negotiate back then.
Yeah, yeah. So now you've got the ability to negotiate. Okay. You're not having to come in over. In fact, I think there is actually some negotiating where you can even come in under asking price. The buyers are typically having the sellers are now paying the title policies, right? They're
Mhm.
allowing for inspections. You can actually pick the house you want, right? Now
Yeah.
you actually there's not a waiting line as to, hey man, I hope I get a house. It's, hey, I can actually get back to actually buying the home that I actually want to buy, right? What a novel idea. We can buy the house we want to buy, but the rates are high. So why is that so scary? If you're keeping money in the bank, you get the ability to negotiate, right? You're not having to come over the top to win the bid with it. And now you got all that extra money that you're storing in the bank,
Yeah.
right? So realistically, it might be
Now's the time to buy
a
it, Devin.
better time to buy a
I
house.
can't.
It's
I can't. I
it's a
can't. I,
better time to
I
buy a
can't.
house.
I can't
It,
emphasize it enough.
it's so you got people that are waiting for what to happen. What do you think they're waiting for?
I'll be real frank with you. They don't know. So here's the deal, Devin. I tell people all the time, we are the professionals. Me as the lender, our real estate partners are the professionals. The people that are coming to us are school teachers, they're doctors, they're pilots,
Yeah,
they're construction workers.
right.
They come from all walks of life, every form. They're not in the real estate business,
Yeah.
so they just don't know. So it's our job to educate them. It's our job to let them know. A lot of times, whenever I'm going over these scenarios with them, Devin, it's the first time they've heard it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's that
Yeah.
it's that process driven that I'm talking about. It's the hand holding. It's the largest purchase of your life.
Yeah.
If you're not in the business, wouldn't you be a little bit weary about rates? Wouldn't you be a little bit weary about what you're hearing information?
No, you're right.
But again, they're school teachers, they're doctors, they're pilots,
Yeah.
they're construction workers.
Yep.
They depend on us, our professionalism, and our ability to make them comfortable with the transaction.
That's right.
They're
That's
looking
right.
to us for guidance, and they're looking for us to lead them down to a smooth and flawless closing, Devin.
I love it, man. I love the smooth and flawless closing, right? That's important because who wants a painful
Yeah.
and stressful closing, right? That doesn't sound like fun for anybody. Well, I'm going to go back and touch on this real quick. So they're waiting for the rates to come down, right? That's what they're thinking is going to happen. And the thing is that what do you guys think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen when the rates do come back down? What ends up happening to the market?
Well, it's gonna. Well, think about it this way. Don't you think other people are sitting out in the market waiting for the rates to come down? Don't
I
you
would
think
assume
there's
so.
investment? So at the end of the day, by you waiting, you may price yourself out of the market because at the end of the day, now is the best time to buy. If you're getting seller concessions, if you're getting all these things, buy now because if the rates do come down, then it's a double whammy. You win. We can always refinance you. But
Yeah.
but we're not competing with everybody else that's going to come back to the market
Win
because
with win,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
win
win
with
with
win.
win.
I love it.
You didn't catch earlier, it's David Wynn. So that's a little, that little dad humor for you guys. I'm full of it. So sorry. You gotta deal with it. But at the end of the day, the rates are going to come down at some point in time, right? Now, are they going to come back to where I don't know. Nobody knows that, right? But we do think, we're hearing economists are speculating that there may be some rate reduction, third quarter and next year. And when that happens, guess what, right? I think you know the answer, but I'm going to throw it out there, right? The guy that bought the house now that didn't pay extra, they got to keep all that cash in his bank, right? They can now have that extra cash to pay the slightly increased payment because the rates got higher. He's still got all that money in his bank. And what happens when the rates go down for him?
We lower the rate, lower the payment.
We refinance them, right?
Yeah,
We
exactly.
refinance them. So they get to buy the house cheap and then they get to refinance it, get the payment down. And the guy that bought the house 50, 100K over, does he get that money back?
No,
He doesn't get that money back. And can
mm-mm.
he refinance again
He can refinance.
if he wants to take a higher rate?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, guys, we went off a little bit on a tangent there, but, it sounds like you're calling Thursday and
Yep.
you're encouraging buyers to jump in the market right now,
Absolutely.
which is going to help your real estate partners because they're actually getting support from their lender to
Hmm.
help communicate to the borrower that now's the great time to buy. Right. And then once you call the borrower, what do you do after that?
We once we call the borrower again, we touch the agent again. We have this thing: touch the borrower, touch the client, touch the agent. Anytime that we talk to the client, we're updating the agent to letting them know what's going on.
That's huge, man. That's huge. And I'll be honest with you, man. I've been in this industry for 2 decades. I don't hear this stuff happening often. I don't know that anybody's making. I mean, you guys are making efforts Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So you're doing all this stuff all week. What do you do on Friday, man? What's Friday? Today's Friday. What do you do today? I mean, you're over here at my house.
Yeah,
What's Friday all about?
we're starting the podcast, but what we want to get to a point is what we call Freedom Friday. That's Friday for now. It's just cleaning up the week and stuff like that. But we want to get to a point where Friday is freedom. What does freedom mean to whatever? Spend time with my family. Spend time with do things I like to do
Yeah.
instead of having to
Yeah.
work.
And let's be honest, when we say freedom, it doesn't mean the business shuts down because there's still homes closed and there's still you got a team, right? You got
Absolutely.
a team, and the team is going to make sure that they're getting your stuff taken care of. Well, you get a little time to yourself to host podcasts and to go out and spend time with your family, and that's really what it's all about, right? So you've got activity Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You're working towards the Freedom Friday goal, right?
Absolutely.
And what does David Wynn do in his free time, right? Do you have a family? Do you have do you have what do you do on the off time, man? You're busy.
I do. I do. My off time is centered around my kids. So I have a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old, two boys. And they are my everything. I
That's
call
awesome,
them,
man.
they're in every sports known to man. On
Love that.
nights, weekends, a lot of my times is spent on the court, wherever court that or field that is. It's everything from football to soccer to baseball to basketball. So when I'm not here or I'm not at work, I'm at a court somewhere, being their biggest cheerleader.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Family, what it all about. And we didn't talk about that with me, but I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there. I'm a family guy too. I've talked about Mrs. Dubuc, the lovely Darian Dubuc, but I've also got kids too. I've got some older ones and some younger. I've got a 21-year-old. I've got a 22-year-old. I've got a 20-year-old, all out of the house. One of them's going to UNT. The other are out there, enjoying their lives and successes and their own successes. And then I've got some here at home. I've got a 9-year-old girl just had a birthday yesterday. I've got a 7-year-old son, and then I've got a 10-month-old baby boy, Kai Anthony Dubuque. And man, he is just, he's just a ball of joy. So family's what it's all about. And I think that's that's how I like to enjoy my off time too, is spending time with the family. I mean, I've got a whole army, so I got to make sure that I'm there to enjoy those times with the kiddos. So, well, what's funny is I was going to ask you what your unique skill is that made you successful. I kind of think we covered it, but there may be something else, David. What else do you got out there? What's that unique skill that's that's driven your success?
Man, I think it's empathy. Devin. I think I'm a people. Well, I don't think I know. My ability to connect with people on all walks of life. I'm a people person. I call myself an energy vampire. What I mean by that is I feed off of other people's energy. I love talking to new people. I love hearing their stories. I love because we all come from different walks of life, different backgrounds, different things, and everybody has a story. And then just really peeling the banana back and just looking at all the pieces, and then connecting with them. And then the last thing, to be able to help them in a business transaction, and not just a business transaction. This is the largest purchase of their life. This is their dream, Devin.
Yeah.
And for me to be able to give them that gift or the ability to help them with that process, it's the most rewarding thing in the world.
I'm right there with you, man. I mean, that's 2 decades in, and I never get tired of helping families.
No, at all.
And for me personally, because I do have the branch helping my team have their support with their families. I mean, we've got a list of core values, and our number one core value is family. And the reason we chose that value is because we're helping families, and we're helping families build generational wealth. But we as a work environment, I mean, you're part of my work environment,
Yeah.
right? We are a family, right?
Yep.
We do things together. And I think the hustle culture made family about, well, we're family, but when you're not at work, you're not really part of the family, right? But I don't think that's the way that we do things. And the third part of our family is we take care of our families first, and I think that's huge. I mean, David, has there ever been a situation where you needed to get to a game or spend time with the family where anybody in our organization made you feel like, man, you shouldn't be there, right? You should be at work.
No, absolutely not. I
Yeah.
think that's why our core value is number one is family.
It's family, man.
Yeah.
We'll get into more of those, as we continue to explore, ourselves and what we do. But I do get to talk about number two before we get off of here, and that's passion. Our second thing that we've listed in our core values is passion, and the reason we mention passion is because we are passionate about what we do. We're passionate about helping people. We're passionate about supporting people and helping people to build success and tremendous success and build the best versions of themselves. And I think that's why we started the podcast, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is important to us. So, I mean, guys, we really appreciate y'all joining us in here today and getting to know a little bit more about me and David and who we are and where we come from. Today is about us because it's 101, right? Like we said, history being made right here. You guys are a part of this, right? But we've got a lot more to talk about. We're going to bring on a lot of successful people from the industry to talk about their successes and what they're doing right now, and what they've been doing to have success and to have success in any environment, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about what's happening today. Let's make sure that it's about what's happening at any time, right? How do you have tremendous success in any environment? So, again, I'm Devin Dubuc,
I'm David Nguyen.
and we appreciate you joining the Real Estate Success Partners. We look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great day.
Until next time.